on, everyone. Sean Marks has the impossible task of trying to trade Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Now, Sean Marks went and got Kyrie and Kevin Durant, and it was all copacetic. Everything was great, right? There was so much promise that the Brooklyn Nets were going to end up winning an NBA championship. We're putting this team together that is going to just rock the NBA. And all that came of it was one playoff series win, and that was it. The Nets are now in complete implosion mode and completely falling apart. And it looks like Sean Marks might be on his way out. There is a report that came in from the Nets not even an hour ago. Sean Marks has been extended as GM. Now the disconnect up and down the organization is unbelievable. Tsai has lost it. Get him out. Multiple sources inside Nets organization say reports that Sean Marks has been extended are completely false. And Tsai has been very public and very open about just everything going on with the Brooklyn Nets, and he's fed up. He even said, I would rather have a team that won 40 games a year that I could be proud of than the team that he has now. That he would rather have a team that isn't even a playoff team, but at least they're trying, at least they're showing up, at least they're doing everything that's necessary. Tsai has been the biggest advocate of get rid of Kyrie Irving. I don't care. I don't want Kyrie. I don't need Kyrie. Get Kyrie gone. And Sean Marks is playing hardball, trying to keep Kyrie around, all of this stuff. And it's not going to end well for Sean Marks. And this is why I keep reiterating that the Nets are going to trade Kyrie Irving because the owner himself doesn't want Kyrie. And Sean Marks is not going to lose his job over Kyrie Irving. And all that's going to happen is if he keeps playing hardball, Kyrie Irving's going to end up staying with the Brooklyn Nets, and all it's going to take is one incident, and it might not even be a big incident, but it's only going to take one incident, and Tsai's going to say, you know what, you're all gone. Forget it. I'll get a new GM that can get rid of Kyrie Irving for me, or Kyrie Irving is gone after this season and all of you are gone. I'll get somebody else to go and trade Kevin Durant, and it's just an absolute mess. And the owner is tired, which I don't blame him. I mean, think of the complete meltdown and disaster that this has been. I mean, he's putting out all this money to go get these stars that didn't play the first year, which is understandable. They were injured, things like that. Okay. But then there was all the promise of them coming back. Then they go get James Harden. That doesn't work. James Harden wants out because of Kyrie Irving and how he doesn't show up and is just, he wants to win. And he doesn't want to be in an organization that doesn't hold people accountable. The Nets are completely falling apart and Tsai is sick of it. He wants a organization that he's proud of, that he believes in, an organization that is, to his credit, at least something that is talked about in a positive light rather than everything that's going on right now, which is just all negative. And I'll never knock an organization for pushing their chips to the table. As bad as the Boston Celtics trade turned out to be, as bad as this Kyrie and Kevin Durant trade turned out to be, at the end of the day, they at least try, which is more than more organizations. There are so many organizations in this league that don't care. They don't care about being contenders. They don't care about being relevant. They just want to make money, and it's a business to them, and that's it. And there are teams and organizations that have never even been to the Western Conference Finals, let alone an NBA Finals. I mean, a team like the Grizzlies, as great as they are, they have only been to one Western Conference Finals in their entire existence. There are teams that have never been to an NBA Final, has never even sniffed or came close to an NBA Final. So I'll never knock the Brooklyn Nets for continuously trying to go all in, but it hasn't worked. And so now you got to just cut the cord and move on. And you got to understand, Tsai is a businessman. You make investments, it doesn't work out, you move on, you cut the cord and you go to the next one. Businessmen, they don't have time to sit there and try to navigate this stuff. Just get rid of it, cut the cord, cut the dead meat, get rid of trim the fat, and let's go. Let's go to the next thing. And that's how Tsai is looking at this. He's looking at it from a business perspective. We made an investment, we went and got these guys, it didn't work out, and now it's time to move on and let's go to a new phase. Let's find something else to go into. So I don't knock Tsai for just being fed up with this mess. And when it comes to Kyrie Irving, it's going to happen because the owner doesn't want Kyrie there. He's been very public. He's been very open about it. He's done everything he can to just get rid of Kyrie Irving and do what you have to get rid of Kyrie Irving. And Sean Marks is now in jeopardy of losing his job over this. And you really think Sean Marks wants to get it done? And this is why I talk about the Lakers being patient. And I know that many people feel the Lakers shouldn't be patient. The Lakers should just get the trade done. Do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, this is why. Because you let the chips fall on the table and you see where they land. And what is happening is the Brooklyn Nets are getting to the point where now they're going to end up starting to get desperate because the owner wants them to move on. And so now Sean Marks is in a very unique and difficult situation, which he was already in, but now it's amplified because now his job's on the line. And it's like, if you don't get this done, I'm done. I'll find somebody else that could get it done. So I think at the very least, Kyrie Irving gets traded relatively soon. I still believe it'll be after the 17th because I think Summer League will want to end. But I wouldn't be surprised if that day or, a couple days after, we hear Kyrie Irving's traded to the Lakers because the owner wants it. And the owner is the one that is in charge. However you feel as a fan, however you feel about as a GM, whatever, it doesn't matter because he has all the power. He's the guy that says, you do this, you do it. Whether the fans want it to happen, he doesn't care what anyone thinks. He is the owner of the organization and he wants Kyrie gone. So Sean Marks has to get rid of Kyrie, and the Lakers are the only team that wants him. So guess what? The Lakers are going to get their way. The Lakers are going to get what they want, and they have all the leverage. I talk about this time and time again. The Lakers have all the leverage. But, many people try to push back and say, no, they don't. The Nets have the leverage, all that stuff. Well, look, guess what? I guess I was right. I guess the Lakers have all the leverage because the Nets are now imploding. And there are reports from Nets sites. These are people that are pro-Nets that want the Nets to do and be successful. They're not going to put out a fake report that has a negative aspect on the Nets because they want the Nets to look good. So there's no way, this is about as concrete as it gets because it's not some neutral site or some, random report or anything like that. They are direct reporters for the Nets organization that speak for the Nets and just do nothing but try to paint the Nets in the best light possible. And guess what? They just made a report about this being an absolute shambles. And now that you have these two guys that don't want to be there, I do think it's still very likely Brooklyn wants to keep Kevin Durant. Kyrie is the problem. Whether people want to believe it or not, I love Kyrie. I think Kyrie is a tremendous talent, but he is a problem. And it's not even the whole jab thing, because that's usually what people bring up. I usually see it time and time again. People are like, well, he has this choice. I support him 100% in not wanting to get the jab. I fully back him for that. And it wouldn't be a big deal if it wasn't for all the other antics throughout his career. All the times that he didn't show up for practice. What about the times that he took, 2 weeks off for a vacation in the middle of a season? What about when he came to the Nets and he said, "Oh, we don't need a coach"? What about all his negative comments about Steve Nash? Whether you believe it or not, whether you think it's true or not, doesn't matter. You're the face of the franchise. You don't talk badly about your coach. You don't talk about how you don't need a coach and no one's going to coach us. I'm Kyrie Irving. This is Kevin Durant. Nobody needs to coach us. We know how to play basketball. It's just things you don't say. With the Boston Celtics, they couldn't get rid of him faster. The Cavs basically traded him for peanuts because he never showed up to practice. He was late for practice when he did show up. He does what he wants whenever he wants it. He doesn't show up, he doesn't perform, and he expects people to bend to his wake and heel. It doesn't make any sense. And I think Kyrie is an incredible talent. But eventually, all of the little nonsense that goes on gets old. And it becomes something that's just beyond basketball. And it's like, yes, as talented as you are, it's like, you could be the best player in the world, but if you don't show up, then you're irrelevant. There's so many people that had incredible talents, but just did stupid things and ended their career. And if Kyrie doesn't get it right, he's going to be out of the league soon. Because there's already, right now, his trade market is the Lakers, and that's it. And I don't even think it would be the Lakers unless they had LeBron James. The hope is LeBron James can get Kyrie Irving to kind of buy in and be that guy. Kevin Durant, I think, makes sense to keep. I think even Tsai, because he hasn't really talked about Kevin Durant. He hasn't really said much to Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant went to Tsai directly and spoke to him and said, "I want out." So Tsai is aware of it, but we haven't really heard anything about Tsai's comments towards Kevin Durant. It's all been about Kyrie Irving. He wants Kyrie Irving gone. He believes that Kyrie Irving is the problem, and we need to get rid of this problem. And once we get rid of this problem, everything else will fall into place. And he might be right. He really might be right. So I just think that it's a matter of when, not if. Kyrie Irving is getting traded. The Nets are falling apart, and there's no way Tsai, the owner, is going to want to go into training camp with Kyrie Irving on his roster. I don't see it. I don't see it. Is it possible? Of course. Anything is possible. But I think it would take something just incredibly drastic. Like the Lakers end up making a trade to where Kyrie can't be traded to them. Then they don't have a choice. I could see something like that happening. But the Lakers, no. The Lakers aren't stupid. Rob Pelinka's waiting patiently for something like this to happen. And guess what? This happened. And now they have all the leverage in the world. Because now they can say, hey, your owner wants to get rid of Kyrie. Hey, you want 2 first-round picks? That sucks. Because your owner wants you to trade him for a bag of chips if you have to. So guess what? New trade. Here it is. This is what we're going to give you. We'll be nice. We'll give you a first-round pick. We'll give you Russell Westbrook. We want Seth Curry in the deal, or don't. And get fired, lose your job. And the new GM, guess what? That new GM we'll just go to him and get less. Now it's two second-round picks and Russell Westbrook. Take your pick. You want to keep a job? Trade us Kyrie Irving. Yeah, then you'll get to keep your job. That's what's going to end up happening. As always, is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What do you think about this report? Are you shocked by it? Does it make sense? How do you feel about this? Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions, however you feel, down in the comment section below. One last little shameless plug is I did start As It Stands Lakers. It is a channel just like this, dedicated to only the Lakers, because the Lakers are my favorite team. And on this channel, As It Stands, I talk about all teams, all sports, stuff like that. We have football season coming up, so I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. And I just wanted to make a dedicated channel to the Lakers to give the ins and outs. Now, all the big stuff, all the big news and stuff, I will still post here on this channel. But if you want all the ins and outs and just rumors and theories and just discussions just strictly on the Lakers, link down in the description or in the comment section. Go check out the channel, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.